Welcome back to Manhwa Heartbeats. We'll be recapping a manhwa called Altruistic Warrior. Don't forget to subscribe, it helps us a lot. Enjoy. The warrior and the lady stand close, sharing a kiss, but as it happens, the lady feels uncertain. She turns to the warrior and tells him it's enough, pulling away, and thinking to herself, if she was really going through with it. That ends the moment between them. Now, going back to where it all started, the lady hits something on the head, and an item drops out. It's the blood of beginners Toong, ranked F. She looks at the screen and sighs, seeing it's another useless item that's not even worth 1 silver. The warrior glances at the screen too and confirms it's the blood of beginners Toong, ranked F, and he repeats what she's thinking, not even 1 silver. The lady knows that novices' demon gems are found from killing creatures like Torongs or slimes. These gems are rare and worth 1 gold each. She thinks about her level, which is only 7, and how she doesn't dare leave the beginner hunting grounds. She once made a living off a rare gem she got from a Nuvi's beast, but lately, she's been stuck with more junk. She gets another item, Tears of Beginner's Slime, also ranked F, and once again, the blood of beginners Toong, still ranked F. After 6 months of hunting, she's frustrated, wishing for better luck by now. But things just aren't going her way lately. She starts thinking about her money problems, paying rent, buying food, weapons, and medicine, and realizes she's barely getting by. She blames her lack of skills, thinking that if she had even won, she wouldn't still be stuck at level 7 at 25 years old. But she also knows that a lot of hunters never get past level 10, and end up poor for the rest of their lives. As she picks up yet another blood of beginners Toong, she wipes her chin and mutters to herself. She wishes things would get easier, but she knows she can't get a skill until she hits level 20. For those at higher levels, it's a whole different story. Some wander through high-level hunting grounds and dungeons like they own the place, especially parties like the Warriors group. But that world feels so far away from hers. She keeps walking, thinking maybe she'll slay just 1 more monster, hoping to find a novice's demon gem. Soon, she spots another demon and gets ready to strike. As she lands the hit, she thinks it should have knocked the creature out. But to her shock, the demon turns around, and she quickly realizes it's not a beginner's Toong. Confused why such a strong monster is in the beginner's hunting grounds, panic sets in, and she starts to run. The creature is right behind her, chasing her down. Before she knows it, blood splatters as she falls hard to the ground. A tablet appears in front of her, informing her she's been cursed by a rare dwarf. The curse is ranked S, with no time limit. Sitting on the ground, wiping her face, she curses her bad luck. Rare monsters like this almost never show up, no matter what kind of hunting ground it is. She knows there's no way she can defeat it to get any items. At level 7, even handling a D-level curse would be hard, but an S-level curse is way worse, especially since there's no time limit, and it can't be purified easily. Still, she notices something strange. She's not feeling the usual pain or burning that comes with a curse. Aine stands up after getting cursed by the rare demon, feeling a bit uneasy, but surprised that there's no pain, at least for now. As she walks, her mind races, thinking about how expensive it's going to be to cure an S-rank curse. She heads toward Spring Village, and as she walks through, she notices people staring at her. They must have noticed something was off. She makes her way to the Stag Inn, where her childhood friend Marley is waiting. As soon as Marley sees the blood on Aine, she rushes over, worried, and asks if she's hurt. Aine shakes her head and says it's not her blood, but she's been cursed. Hearing that, Marley gets alarmed and tells her to go to the temple right away, just in case the curse gets worse later. Aine tells Marley that she can't afford the purification. She hasn't had any luck finding gems lately. Marley offers to lend her some gold, first 5, then 3, and finally just 1. Aine can't help but thinks sarcastically if this is really how a friend should act. But she knows deep down that Marley is the only real friend she has in the village. Later, when she's lying in bed, she mutters to herself, hoping they won't actually need to go to the temple after all. Eventually, she falls asleep, but suddenly wakes up drenched in sweat, feeling sharp, unbearable pain. Clutching her chest, she wishes someone could help her. The next day, she finds herself standing outside the temple. As she approaches the gate, she calls out for the holy priest. The priest quickly notices something's wrong, sees her eyes are tightly shut from the pain, and urges her to come inside. She explains that she's been cursed by a demon with an S-rank curse, and can't bear the pain anymore. But to her disappointment, the priest admits that the clerics in this temple aren't strong enough to purify such a powerful curse. He suggests she head to a larger temple, maybe in a place like Summer Village, where they might be able to help. Aine thinks it's good that the priest was honest. It's better than wasting money on something that won't work. The journey to the priest is anything but easy. Thanks to a merchant and his coachman who know a shortcut, they manage to reach Summer Village in just 3 days. But the nights are rough. Aine finds herself crawling on the floor of the wagon, clawing at the door in pain. Despite the struggle, they finally make it to Lixiang Temple, the biggest temple in the village. There, she explains her situation to the priest, but he demands a huge sum, 100 gold, for the purification. Aine is shocked and tells the priest she doesn't have that kind of money. Even if she sold her organs to a black mage, she thinks, she still wouldn't get close to 100 gold. The priest asks how much she can offer, and Aine nervously suggests 17 gold, hoping they can work something out. The priest turns away, coldly telling her to go home. Desperate, she grabs onto his clothes, begging and offering to raise the amount to 20 gold. She explains that the money she's saved is all she has, a mix of what her parents left her, and what a generous merchant gave her when she arrived in the village. She has no one else to help her. The priest acknowledges the danger she's in, explaining that the curse she's carrying is S-grade, meaning death could be a real possibility. He then tells her that the 100 gold he mentioned was for just one purification, but she would need at least 10 for it to work. Her heart sinks, she can't even afford one, let alone 10. Falling to her knees, she says it's impossible for her to gather that kind of money. If she were a high-level player, she thinks, she could easily make it by grinding in high-level hunting grounds. But that's not her reality. The priest, still turned away from her, suggests there might be another way. He mentions that a relationship with someone of great divine power, like a hero, could work. The hero's blood could purify her, or even their saliva in place of blood. Aine feels confused and embarrassed, thinking how different this village is from her conservative home, where such things would never be suggested. The priest then tells her that the hero's party is currently in the village and suggests she meet them. While they might not pay attention to someone like her, a low-level country girl, she knows she has no other choice but to try. With newfound determination, Aine leaves the temple, ready to find the hero. She thinks to herself that forming a relationship with the hero seems more possible than raising all that money, but the thought of approaching this hero, someone she doesn't even know, fills her with uncertainty. As Aine walks through the busy village, she comes across a crowded area where a group of heroes is gathered. She asks someone nearby if this is the hero's party, and they confirm it, pointing to a particularly handsome man with blonde hair. When she looks closer, she realizes just how incredibly attractive he is, far more handsome than anyone she's ever seen. She wonders if being a hero somehow means you have to look that good. For a moment, she thinks about whether she should try flirting with him, or just ask for help directly. Just then, a waitress holding a notebook interrupts her thoughts, asking if she's going to order something. Caught off guard, Aine notices that the place has cleared out, leaving her standing awkwardly. Feeling nervous, she says she doesn't have a seat, but the waitress points to a spot and asks what she wants. With a shaky breath, Aine hands over a coin and orders a pint of stout, hoping it will give her the courage she needs to approach the hero. After sitting down at the table, she tries to calm herself, but her mind keeps racing. The weight of her situation presses down on her. She knows her money is running out, and if this plan doesn't work, she'll have to go back to the temple and beg for help again. The thought makes her anxious, but she knows she has no other choice. As Aine sits there, her eyes keep drifting back to the group of heroes. They're clearly the center of attention, and it's hard for anyone to look away. She notices that she's not the only one watching them. A man sitting at her table speaks up, asking if she's there to see the heroes too. His voice is flat, and he sounds almost bored as he mentions that the heroes will be leaving soon. He doesn't seem to understand why anyone would care about them. He even suggests that the people at their table could be more useful to her than those outsiders. But Aine doesn't respond. She just turns her face away from him, choosing to ignore what he said. Her focus stays on the heroes. They are the only ones she believes might actually help her. Then, something surprising happens. A woman walks up to the hero's table, moving with purpose. Aine watches her closely, wondering what's about to unfold. The woman speaks directly to the hero, her voice full of urgency. She says she needs a favor. As Aine listens, a wave of shock washes over her. The woman is asking the hero to remove a curse. Aine's mind starts racing. She hadn't expected anyone else to come to the hero for the same reason, and now she feels completely caught off guard. The lady approaches the hero, and says she has something important to tell him. The hero notices her and asks if something is wrong. From where she's sitting, Aine thinks the hero has a really nice voice. The lady continues, asking if they could talk in a quiet place. But before she can finish, another warrior interrupts, saying she can't just take the hero away from his meal. If she has something to say, she should say it right there. Aine watches, wondering if this is something that happens often. Does no one care what the lady has to say? The lady finally gives in and decides to speak right there. She asks the hero for a favor, pleading with him to lift her curse. The hero asks if it's truly a curse, and the lady confirms it, explaining that while she was in the hunting grounds, she was suddenly hit with an 8th grade curse. She went to the temple, but they told her it would cost 3,000 gold to purify it, and she simply couldn't afford that. She thought the hero, known for having the strongest divine power on the continent, could help her. Aine listens carefully, thinking about what she just heard. The priest had told her that purifying an 8th grade curse would cost 1,000 gold, not 3,000. There's no way the price could be that high. She starts to wonder if the lady is lying. Even though prices can vary from temple to temple, the last one Aine visited didn't seem like it was offering a particularly cheap deal either. So, is the woman just making things up? The warrior sitting next to the hero comments that it's another curse, asking what kind of favor the lady is really looking for. Another warrior jumps in, saying it's pretty obvious that she wants to be cured. He also questions how someone cursed with an 8th grade curse could be walking around so easily. Aine thinks about that too. She's been moving around as well, even though the pain tends to hit her hard all at once at night. The man at the table continues, saying that they will check what kind of curse the lady has. He calls out to Seish, asking her to see if the lady really has an 8th grade curse. Seish responds, not wanting to deal with that right now. The hero then tells the lady to leave, and she quickly runs off, mumbling about how there are already too many people in the village, and how everyone always has the same excuses. Meanwhile, the warrior named Dime keeps drinking his beer, surprised at how common these 8th grade curses seem to be. Aine listens to him, thinking about how it's not common for someone like her to have an S-grade curse. She feels unhappy that she's just living a normal life one moment and suddenly becomes special because of a curse. A female warrior at the table comments that the hero is really popular and mentions how he's had some unwanted visitors before. Aine agrees with her. The lady then adds that the hero is not really her type, and Seish tells her that no one asked for her opinion. The hero interrupts them, asking everyone to stop talking about that and to move on. A lady sitting next to Vad Ruk tells him to hurry up and finish his meal, because he is making them late. Aine keeps watching the scene, holding her beer and thinking it's a waste of money. She decides she will have to drink it. If she tells the hero she's cursed, he will probably reject her. She believes the lady is lying, but how could she prove that? She thinks the hero's group can only help with A-grade curses, so she knows she needs to visit the temple again. But she isn't sure if that temple is the only one that matters, and she definitely doesn't have the money to find out. Just then, a man at a nearby table comments that he doesn't expect the hero to be foolish enough to let a bread roll slip through his fingers. Another man adds that he would have gone straight to the inn for a room. Aine finds this really annoying and thinks about moving to a different spot. It seems like a shame to leave a seat so close to the hero's party, but she can't seem to start a conversation anyway. Suddenly, a guy from the table next to her asks if she wants to go upstairs with them. She quickly tells him that she is not interested. He keeps pushing, telling her to think about it, but she refuses again. When he touches her arm, she feels really uneasy. He suggests that maybe this would change her mind. She thinks about back home, where most people are familiar to her and things like this rarely happen. Now, in this strange place, she finds herself in trouble. She grits her teeth and pushes his hand away, realizing that it's not the right time to get into trouble with these men. She shouts at him to get his hands off her. The man responds by saying she is refusing their kindness and pulls out a knife, holding it against her shoulder. He insists that she come with them. Now, there are 3 of them standing in front of her. She trembles, knowing that if it were just one, she might be able to run away, but with 3 men, her chances of being caught are much higher. She understands what they want to do with her, and there's no way she can follow them. Looking around for help, she sees that no one seems to care about what's happening. The man warns her to get up before they make a scene. Terrified, she jumps up and starts running toward the exit. She thinks that if she runs outside, they will catch her in no time. As she runs, she quickly glances at the hero, and their eyes meet for just a brief moment. Feeling a sense of urgency, she dashes over to their table. Out of breath, she turns to one of the female warriors and pleads for help. The warrior looks at her and asks what is wrong and what happened. Just then, the men who are chasing her arrive. One of them smirks and comments that they appreciate the warrior's efforts, noticing that the whole group of warriors is here. He adds that they are grateful for all the work the warriors do to protect the continent. Aine, who is sitting at the hero's table, speaks up with a simple, "Excuse me." But one of the men chasing her ignores Aine, and says they have no business with him. He insists they will just take the young lady away quietly. The female warrior then glances back at Aine, who is standing behind her, looking scared and unsure of what will happen next. Aine, still standing behind the female warrior, firmly says she won't go and asks the man to stop bothering her. He replies, questioning why she is frustrated, and reminds her that they were supposed to go together. She responds that she never agreed to that. The man steps closer, suggesting they should take this discussion somewhere else, because it is bothering the warriors around them. Feeling frustrated, Aine thinks he is being way too persistent and regrets not just running out of the inn when she had the chance. Gripping the chair of the warrior in front of her, Aine feels her frustration growing. She knows she is running out of time, and it's hard to believe she has reached the hero's party without a plan. The female warrior standing in front of her turns to the men, and tells them that she has said no, questioning why they keep pushing her. Aine's eyes widen in shock when the man replies that it's not her concern and claims they are close to her. Aine quickly counters, saying they are not close at all and that she doesn't trust them. In her mind, she thinks she doesn't care about being close to them. The female warrior stands up, placing a hand on her waist, and asks if what the man said is true. The man dismisses her, saying it's none of her business. With a quick movement, the female warrior reveals her sword and points it at him, warning him that she is at level 73 and challenging him to try her if he wants to. Aine watches in awe, thinking she has never seen anyone above level 20 before. She reflects on the rumors about the heroes' party and realizes their levels are much higher than she imagined. She wonders what level the hero must be. The man tries to leave, insisting they are going, and walks away in frustration. Aine thinks that none of the men seem to be above level 50, and if they faced someone at level 73 like Janine, they would likely be killed. Running away was a smart choice. Another warrior at the table asks Janine why she revealed her level. Janine simply replies that she has nothing to hide. Then, she turns to Aine and asks if she is okay. Aine assures her she is fine, but thinks about how she can't go back to Spring Village with the heroes' party in town. Janine offers to walk her home, but Aine declines, thanking her for the help. Janine asks if Aine needs anything else, and Aine hesitates, fearing they might suspect her intentions for approaching them. She remembers how the hero had told another lady to leave earlier, and thinks about how she doesn't have a good plan. Feeling overwhelmed, she decides it's best to leave quietly. She bows to Janine, thanking her for the help, but Janine calls her back. Aine realizes that if she makes eye contact with Janine, she might think she is after her when she is actually aiming for the hero. She worries about the thugs still being around and thinks she can't stray too far from the inn where the hero is. Staying at the inn feels too expensive, and she considers sleeping on the streets, but that seems risky. She enters another building and gasps when she sees the price, saying it costs 50 silver a night for such a shabby place. However, she notices it has a good view of the inn where the warriors are staying. As night falls again, Aine reflects on her frantic travels from town to town, searching for the hero. She feels frustrated because she couldn't say anything and just backed away when she had the chance to talk to him. She wishes she had pursued that chance earlier. Regret washes over her as she wonders why she is down to 1 gold. Remembering that she had given 1 gold to Janine, she feels even more frustrated, realizing it was precious to her. She rolls over on her bed, feeling the pain of her choices, but then she tells herself that there is no point in regretting it. The next morning, she steps outside and yawns, noticing that she barely slept again. She sees a large crowd gathered and thinks that the heroes' party must be nearby. As she gets closer to the crowd, Aine thinks about how everyone is watching, but they don't seem to care about her. They must be used to all the attention, because they are focused on the warriors. Then, she notices how the hero is shining brightly today, and she wonders if a mythical god or hero would really look like that in real life. While she looks at him, she realizes their eyes meet. Their locked gaze surprises her, and she thinks, wait, did we just make eye contact? Feeling flustered, she quickly turns her face away. Turning around, she begins to walk away, trying to shake off the moment.